Welcome to Team Futurism. My name is Peter Clarke, and I'm here with the one and only Devon Carsen. How you doing, Devon?
Oh, doing pretty good, Pete. Just a lot of moving parts over here, trying to keep everything greased up and kind of clicking away. How you
Nice.
doing?
Yeah, we were just talking about how like absurdly busy we are. My schedule today is like one thing, then another thing, then another, then another, which is like, I remember when I was younger, life just wasn't like that. But like for some reason now, with this phase of life, with like having a baby and responsibilities and shit, it's just that's just like what life is, for better or worse. It's probably better, but
Simpler times, man. I think like our the generations after us will probably look at us as like just some weird pinnacle of overload capacity for how much shit a human can do before it needs a robot assistant. Because I think
yeah.
like hitting, I think we keep kind of, we're just like we're hitting the max, and like all of these like society wide things are happening because we're all doing just way too much stuff. And I think probably in 2 generations people will do like an order of magnitude less stuff because they'll have so much robotic help, one would imagine.
Yeah, our mutual friend Arun Kumar was saying the other day that of all his friends, he lives and works in Silicon Valley. Of all of his friends, the one who's most like ready for the future is his dude friend who just like lives in Santa Cruz and like smokes weed and hangs out on the beach all day. Like he's ready. He's ready for it. And the rest of us, I don't
I think
know.
so. Like, I think there's going to be a time in the next 50 years where there'll have to be some kind of spiritual practice around not knowing. Like just being like going and cosplaying. It'll be like a 3-month vacation as like a surfer dude that doesn't have to think about anything else.
I'm so ready for it. I'm ready to give up the 9 to 5 thing and have some like actual free time where you can like maybe kind of sort of think about life at a deeper level rather than just kind of like, oh, I have 10 minutes and then I have to go to bed. And you know what I mean? Like
Then who will farm the potato
uh,
eater? we are the
the robot
we
overlords, man. They
I
were
know. If everyone's a duke, then who tills the field?
yeah,
I know.
the problem will be coming up with new status games where we have to like not only keep things manufacture activities that occupy our time but also fulfill our need to like wrestle around in the mud so that we can figure out who's the top monkey in the tribe, so we gotta create some new status games.
I love that. That'll be cute when society is restructured as kind of like a pre-K babysitter type thing where you like it's stations. It's Montessori style reality where you've got like 12, you got to do
Ooh.
12 modules this year. Like, I did pottery this month.
Oh, that sounds so beautiful. I'm so ready.
It's so beautiful, dude. It'll be paint. It'll literally like national holiday. It'll be at Paint and Sip November. Like everybody gets
Ooh,
the
that's
month.
good.
Everybody gets the month off to do Paint and Sip. Yeah.
Hey, well, since we are not there yet and we do have a limited amount of time today, how
Oh
do you feel
no.
about jumping into, I don't know, the chaos of the moment? Like, this is a weird time in the world of American politics, right?
Who's on
And
this
yeah, we
man?
wanted to
Oh,
jump in on this just for like, I don't know, his history's sake, just to have some like moments where we like reflect on this together. Because I do not know your thoughts about this, like how badly this is going to corrupt MAGA land and or not.
yeah.
So should we do like just like a 10-second intro to this, just so anybody watching who may not be familiar kind of like knows just like the
Yeah.
details here.
I
So
yeah, I'd say go for it. It's crazy. I'll just say before you start, like, I don't know how long it's been since something took this much air out of the room. Like it's almost like if you if you
right.
like the preamble, like if you're needing this preamble, you got to stay a little more tapped in. But please take us through the basic statement of fact.
Well, last night I was talking to my wife, and she was like, I was like, "Hey, have you heard about the Trump news?" And that I've realized is just kind of like my wife has like a real job that's like actually like intense, and she doesn't just like stay online all day like
Right.
I do.
She's
And her just like, I realize that that's a wrong way to intro a topic, because she's immediately just kind of like, no, I'm so over it. I don't want to hear the next thing.
Yeah.
How many years have we been doing this? Like
Yeah.
so many years. That is just like, you can't go into a conversation with somebody who doesn't know what's going on and like intro that and expect it to be interesting.
No.
That said, I feel like this is actually interesting, or at least like entertaining at a sort of, reality TV show type of level. I'll just highlight it like very quickly, which is that like, so the Washington Post dropped, or yeah, I actually have it. Yeah, sorry, Wall Street Journal. I actually have it up here.
Yeah.
They dropped
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal. I'm so sorry. I'm already fucking this up. I'm just starting. I do want to kind of try to show this on my screen. So they dropped this, something that apparently I believe came from the FBI, right? Is that it? Where they got this book from Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday, with all of his like buddies at the time were like writing little like creative writing projects for him, which is so cute. It's so adorable. One of the people who wrote something was Donald Trump, and we actually got like what he wrote. It was apparently with like his famous Sharpie pen. He drew a naked woman with like his signature was her pubic hair. Also just so adorable. Like, good job, Donald. And then assuming this is him, like no defamation, like allegedly, right?
Yeah.
And then there was this thing where he has this little back and forth, and he talks about like, so the ending here, that's now like the famous like one-liner going around: happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. I'm not going to read the whole thing just because like I think people have heard it by now, but like,
Yeah.
you can read a lot of things into this, but the most obvious thing that jumps out is that the secret is that they both, let's just say, enjoy young women. Is that like the baseline of what he could be alluding to here?
It's so funny. Like in absentia of anything else, you would look at this and already be like, well, that's pretty strange. But then given all of these, the preponderance of connectivity between Trump and Epstein, it's like, you don't have to really try hard to see what it could be referencing. Who knows what it actually is referencing? Because I was thinking about this morning when I knew that we were going to talk, and I was really kind of just letting my mind pour over it. And to me, in a weird way, when I read it again, I was like, oh, well, it's such an overt motion from one person to another to say like, hey, like, you know this thing about me. I too know this thing about you. It almost felt like that to me on my final examination of it, less so like, hey, like we both do this thing, and isn't that interesting, like riding high on the hog about it, and more kind of like, who knows, in a world where people have blackmailable dirt on each other, maybe that's part of the game.
Can we
Yeah,
I want to like fact check on maybe our ages and like ages of the average American male. Sandor comments, when I turned 4, I got a book of fairy tales. I drew boobs on Cinderella. Trump is 4 confirmed. Okay, so like I do actually think, what was the age when you aged out of, let's just say, drawing boobs on like things that you would send to a friend? I would say maybe like 8, 10. Like you age out of that, and so like Trump's age, I think the fair or 4 is fair, maybe 10. Like he might be
You
like
ever been
mentally 10.
around like wealthy people too? Like I've had the blessing / curse of having been around wealthy people more than once in my life, and like wealthy and famous people, especially when they grow up that way, they can kind of be insulated against anything. It's a total
Yeah,
it's a
true.
total wild card. Sometimes they come out really balanced and focused, but sometimes because of their privilege or wealth, they do come out kind of oblong in one way or another. And yeah, who the fuck knows, man? Like a guy like Trump, who really has always needed to keep up this air of kind of big doggery, you know what I mean? Would it really surprise me if he's doing? It was also a different time too, when drawing pictures of tits was a little kind of You know, like we're very desensitized to boobs and like naked women now, but there was a time when like
It was edgy.
yeah,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
just seeing like the image of a naked woman, you're like, oh, hey.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like this story is evolving very quickly right now. I have been following the headlines, just a little bit of it. Like,
Yeah.
here's the Guardian. Actually, maybe I'll jump to that. The Guardian has been keeping this like tab of like, oh, here's a summary 7 hours ago, 8 hours ago. You know, they've been doing these little summaries. So, I mean, the latest that has been the news drop is that Trump said nothing will be good enough for the lunatics, and he requested that some of the Epstein files from like the Epstein criminal case be released. We also do know at the same time that apparently like this got like leaked to the press today. The FBI, when they were going through the criminal case of Jeffrey Epstein, was told specifically to flag anytime Trump's name came up, maybe so that that could be like redacted is kind of the thought. So, I mean, like Trump is so implicated in this that it's like insane. Like at every level of Jeffrey Epstein's life and conspiracy, the Trump name is just like one way or another. I'm not saying any of it necessarily is always like nefarious, but like at every level, Trump is so deeply involved in this. This is actually the question that I kind of like want to bounce to you. Just maybe this is jumping ahead a little bit, but I want to bounce this to you. To me, there are like kind of two things that we just don't know exactly, and these are the things that are fun to speculate about. But like just to flag them, and maybe we can open this to discussion for ourselves. One, we don't truly know whether Epstein was, let's say, used by I don't know, like an intelligence agency, whether in the United States or in Israel. These are the speculations. Oh, apparently we just don't know that. Like no one knows that. I don't know exactly why those rumors are spreading, but like there's no hard evidence for that. There's just speculation. But that is fascinating. Of all commentators who's like on the conspiratorial frontier, like Eric Weinstein maybe gives like the best takes about that make me get a little like very interested in that. But and some commentators like kind of shoot that down. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Yes. So there's like definitely direct connections. Yeah, you're right. So it's not just all speculation. There's definitely like direct connections. The other thing that is just still in the world of conspiracy land that we just don't have hard evidence for, apparently, we might soon, is the quote unquote list. We don't know exactly if there is such a list of people who like went to the island, let's say, and two, we don't know if there's a list of people that Jeffrey Epstein logged what they did on the island, like who they slept with and the age of the people they slept with. We don't know if that exists or if that's even a thing. I have always assumed throughout all the many, many, many years that this has been like a story, which has been like, I don't know, like decades now, right? I've always assumed that Jeffrey Epstein didn't just like keep a handwritten list of shit. He kept like video files, right? That was always the thing. Like there was a story at one point that when you go to his island, like there's a painting that like the eyes of the painting were like cameras or whatever. Whatever happened to those details, right? Like there, I don't know. I'm hoping my conspiratorial mind here hopes that there's more than just like, oh, here's a list of names. I want there to be like fucking video evidence, right? To make this truly like interesting. Okay, so those are the two kind of unknowns. Where are you with those?
Well, do you think that we'll get to see any of the, what do you think? Do you think we'll get to see any of the evidence that you just talked about? Do you think anything will actually come of it? Do you think there will be a shoe to drop at all?
Right now, the FBI is pissed at Trump because he's trying to bury this story. This is like part of the news going on. So this is why stuff is starting to drop now. So that makes me think if we don't hear or see any like really gnarly evidence about Epstein keeping lists and details of people, if we don't see that soon, it might just simply not exist because it seems like this is the moment that we would see it.
There has to be some correlated intelligence. I doubt Epstein had like a little moleskin in his back pocket that he was just black booking everybody with, like a Depression era bookie. But I do think that by this time, how much it must have been combed by every intelligence agency that's had access to these files. there has to be some kind of comprehensive list of something, but probably not by his hand, but surely it's been brought together in a single place. Let me throw it. This ringer just hit the back of my head. Did you hear Epstein's brother in the interview like a week ago, where he was saying he would not be surprised if Trump had Epstein because
No, I saw that he was
Epstein's
interviewed by
brother.
Piers Morgan. Was he was this a different interview, or?
It was a clip on a podcast that I was listening to this past week, but it was really very cut and dry, where Epstein's brother himself was like, I really wouldn't be surprised if Trump himself would, because Epstein's brother claims that during the 2016 Trump election, that Epstein told his brother that if he released the information he had on Trump, they would call the election off. And so, like, and that's the guy's brother. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's pretty wild.
Right. Yeah. At any level of this, you have to also wonder a little bit, like, what's the incentive of someone talking now? Like, why are they talking now? I mean, Trump is throwing around, like, I'm going to sue everybody effectively. Like, right. Like, anybody who says the wrong thing about this, I'm going to sue them. Usually he doesn't follow through, but that's interesting.
Right.
Sandor also comments, if he was CIA Mossad, his handlers would have the evidence. This is the thing. There would be massive piles of evidence about this at some level.
Yeah.
Part of that, though, is that, like, this is where Eric Weinstein and his being able to be articulate about this shit becomes interesting, because he can articulate, like, the layers of I don't know, bureaucracy or whatever that kick in to protect things like this.
Right.
So there are protective mechanisms built into these organizations so that if something might leak and be juicy, it doesn't, or whatever. Right. But, like, okay, I don't know. The whole thing about Jeffrey Epstein that the naysayers say is that I don't fully buy. I don't know where to sit with this, to be honest, but, like, I don't buy the full conspiracy, and also don't buy this, which is this idea that, like, Jeffrey Epstein had an island, a huge interest in young girls, and he implicated no one in it.
Right.
No fucking way that's true. Like, there's no way that's true. He definitely, whether for a government, whether for his own, like, you know, perversion, or whether for just, like, for fun because he's a rich dude and he's bored, like, he implicated other people. He got other men involved in, like, his shenanigans,
and
right? Like, we that has
so.
to be the case, right?
Yeah, and seemingly intentionally so. Like, it was a real, it was a real hand-picked list of dudes at the top of pretty much everything, you know, politics, musicians, scientists, people like that. You don't buy the full conspiracy. Tell me what you do buy, because this is actually something of interest to me. You're such a well-reasoned, fact-based dude. You know, with maybe a minor in vibes, you know, on top of it. And I wonder how much of it filters down to you as truth. Like, what do you think how do you think the scope of it extends, if you had to look at everything that we know so far?
I feel myself being in this weird position where a little bit like Trump, and then, like, whoever last listened to who told a good story, I kind of believe them. So I feel like I'm biased by whatever last podcast or article I read on this, right? Where I'm just kind of like, oh, dude, that's it. So I feel myself being tugged around by it. But, like, I do kind of think that Jeffrey Epstein existed to serve someone's grand purpose and not just his own purposes, because we don't know where his wealth came from. Right. Someone, like, assisted him in acquiring and maintaining that wealth and that lifestyle. And it seems very obvious to me he was doing shit on behalf of someone at some level. We just don't know whether we don't know that. I don't think that we know exactly the details of that, but either way, in either case, and this is where it becomes relevant to today's stories, I do think that Trump is the least innocent person involved. If Jeffrey Epstein was involved in implicating anybody of all those people, Trump is the least likely of them to have clean hands in this situation. Do I think Trump had sex or worse, like gnarly violent sex or whatever that like is being said with underage girls, I would put money he did, just because like that's the type of dude he was. His whole entire life is like he's the guy who there's like 19 women or whatever that have like actively pursued him on like sexual assault charges.
Yeah.
He is the most obvious person on the planet Earth to be implicated in this. And the people who are anti-conspiratorial minded, which I also get, but as soon as they start being like, yeah, but well, Trump, blah, 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 it's like, dude, get the fuck out of it. We know who this dude is, and he is a sexual, like, I don't know what the word is, like predator, pervert. I don't know what the thing is, like just sexually, whatever. I don't know what the word would be, but like, we know that that's him, right? So
yeah,
that's the world of my thoughts. Yeah.
It's so crazy. I was really kind of taken aback this week about how thoroughly the air has been taken out of the room and how important this was, especially to Republicans, especially to working class people, like showing up kind of on every podcast, on every news. And it's in a weird way, it's a non-story. Right? It's like usually a story would have a hard time achieving this kind of escape velocity into the zeitgeist. But this is a non-story. This is them going and saying, all right, actually, there really just isn't anything. And it just seemed so suspicious to so many people. And I was reflecting on this a couple of days ago. I think one of the things that happened is that these people ran into this invisible buzzsaw that happens when you fuck the proletariat sometimes, where there's just certain things that are so beguiling to like a working class person. And one of like the dominant narratives for the last like 40 years of like working class proletariat people looking up at like the wealthy class is they're fucking kids, and they're all in some secret little ring together. And I mean, this was like, I remember back in the 90s, there would be shows on like cable television, like remember those conspiracy shows where like, a weeknight at like 11 o'clock, it would be about like aliens or the JFK assassination or something like that.
Totally. Oh shit, dude, I lost you. Hey, can you hear me?
That these crazed pedophiles are, cavorting at, in a grove, just, and I don't think they realized that that this was one of those little hot buttons for kind of everybody. And then they ran on it and were promising to release it in all of these different ways. And then all of a sudden it's just supposed to go away. I'm like, damn, I hope people really hold on to it, because like I said, I haven't seen it happen that many times where people get this activated this quickly and it's so thoroughly everywhere. I'm like, give us a couple weeks of really hammering these fucking clowns on something that you got them. I keep saying this. I keep saying, stop hammering him on stuff that seems like it's fucked up. You gotta wait until you can pin him to the fucking wall on something. And this seems like one of those things.
That is one of the interesting things about this particular story, and that for years and years and years, this was a story about how Bill Clinton was implicated, but then Democrats just kind of like sort of never cared, because we like a politician for the Democrats comes and goes, and we just like our idolization of that person just like dies on the table. Right. You know what I mean? We don't have like this idol worship necessarily that the Republicans apparently, at least in this generation, just do. So now that the tables have turned and like, okay, get Clinton, like, please, entertain us, he's dead to us. Like Republicans can't do that with Trump, because one, Trump's in power right now, but two, this story was for the Clintons, and like now it's being turned against Trump, like by his own supporters, because Trump, let's just say, like, man, he could have handled this in such a way that no matter what the reality is, he could have handled it in such a way that it did just kind of blow over. But this is one like interesting detail about the storyline that to me is so interesting, is that so I think it was Wednesday morning, Trump had that interview. He was sitting at like his office or whatever, the table, and the interviewer brought up Epstein, and Trump did that famous line of like, why are people still talking about Epstein? Like, drop it. Yeah. It was the night before or the day before,
he got the Wall
Street Journal
yeah,
had him into their offices and was like, hey, this is gonna drop tomorrow. Like, just to let you know, like, we're gonna publish this. So then it was the next day that he said, everyone drop it. Like, he just looks so guilty.
It's like
if he's innocent, holy shit, he's not playing this off very well.
He couldn't look any more guilty if he tried. I mean, if everything else didn't point you towards something real funny is going on around here, it's just like, think if he was somebody that you knew, that you thought stole something from you or something, and just think of how he's acting right now. It's a pretty easy little litmus test. He's acting extraordinarily suspicious, almost needlessly suspicious, right?
Absolutely. Can I play you one more? Can we pivot to one more topic today that is also, I think we're doing conspiracy theory day today. Now that, I mean, Epstein is more than a conspiracy. It's like, there's a lot of real shit to it, but, okay. This is another thing, Devon, that I have so many, I do not want to go conspiratorial about this, but the internet is drawing me towards conspiracy theory. Do you know the whole phenomenon of Trump getting shot, right? In Butler, Pennsylvania? And then like, there's always been this like very like low level conspiracy about how it was orchestrated just so that Trump could win. Did you see the new angle that dropped of the shooting? No. Okay. We gotta watch this, just because I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but like, I don't know. This is weird. This is another one where like, if this became a full blown conspiracy theory, or more like details came out, I'm primed to like go conspiratorial on this. Let's just say
I'll say before you start this video, I haven't done a deep dive on it, but I have not. I just see shit come on my timeline. I'm like, that's weird. I've done a light dive on this. There's a lot of really weird stuff about this shooting. Please go on. Yeah. So Michael Shermer, who debunks everything, would say anytime anything high level happens, there are always anomalies, right? So like, there are various tests that you can throw at something to be like, is this anomaly meaningful or not? I'm not down to like throw my hat in the ring for like, oh my God, this was all orchestrated, but this is just interesting to me, and I don't have any way to fully explain this otherwise. So if you haven't seen this, I think that it's all like kind of obvious from watching this, but like, this just looks orchestrated. And look for the moment when the flag lowers into place at seemingly exactly the right time. Just interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. So let me full screen this bad boy and I'll play it.
President's been shot. Oh no. No. Either that or they're covering. We don't know. Either that or they're covering him. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. Yes. 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 We love you, President Trump. No. No shot.
Crazy. Whoa. That's
okay, right? That's a little weird. Little suspicious there.
I mean,
photographer on cue runs to get the photographers, brings them to exactly the right place. Right when Trump stands up, the flag lowers, and like, you're not supposed to actually, like, the CIA or FBI, whoever they're told to like never let the person stand up like that. They're just not supposed to, but he does at exactly this moment as the flag lowers, just as the photographers are right in place. I'm not saying anything, but like, dude, it does look a little suspicious, and now I'm a little bit interested in this. So yeah, anyway.
What a South Park episode intro where the guy, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We love you, President Trump.
We love you, President Trump. They're so hype. I'm like, you got to get these people out more. you guys just need to go to more concerts and maybe church, a bigger church where you can get more excited on Sundays. You don't need that from a political candidate. You want politics to be boring, guys. You want these people to be doing regular stuff. You know,
So
that
someone
is
asks Grok here, Grok, can you analyze the Secret Service behavior in this video? Is it in line with their training? And what would you expect after the president was supposedly shot? Grok says the video shows Secret Service agents initially shielding Trump post-shooting, but then permitting exposure for his fist pump and flag posed actions or actions that risked further threats. Per protocol, the DHS and USSS guidelines, agents should evacuate immediately without delay, minimizing visibility. This deviates from training as reports criticize it as a lapse, prioritizing optics over security despite the shooter being neutralized. So I don't know, like it is interesting looking through the comments of a video like
flag too,
this.
just like lowering out of frame is really, it adds a bit of a comic element to it where you're just, and you kind of see him like bringing the boom in, and I'm like, well, what's that flag doing on that boom? You know, like in front of the stage. Like, it looks
But
very,
like to pull back from the conspiracy, like that means the guy who lowered the thing was in on it. The dude who like got the cameraman to come around the exact same moment, they were in on it.
I don't,
Maybe the detail was in on it, or I mean, maybe not. But like they were told, if this were true, this were orchestrated, they were told to do those things at exactly the right moment. And like, so who's gonna like go out and find those people and interview them? I don't
Right.
know. You know what I mean? But like, were they like given like, here's $600,000, shut the fuck up, don't ever talk to a news agency? Like maybe that's also easy to do. I just don't know. Like, but you do have to play out how it would be orchestrated, right? And if it doesn't seem plausible, then it wasn't orchestrated at some level.
Well, there's a lot of weird stuff about the shooter too, like how close he was in a position that is like pretty monitored, like supposed to be monitored for threats. A lot of people saw him before the Secret Service did, you know, like there was, I mean, like, and it goes on and on and on and on. I mean, there's a pretty deep conspiracy theory about it, and it was seeing stuff like does. I mean, and honestly, I remember that was my gut reaction. I was like, oh, he did this to gin up some support. And then, you know, he wore that dumbass little Band-Aid on his ear around for like 2 weeks, right? And like really milked it. It just doesn't look good. Yeah, this guy, I mean, this everything that keeps coming down the pike, it's crazy because this guy really truly is the Teflon Don. I mean, it is nothing has stuck to him through his entire life of philandering and fucking people. And it's crazy. And I'm like, I really, when this Epstein thing happened this week, I thought, is this the thing that takes him down? Because it's going to have to be like a picture of him like doing it. You know what I mean? I mean, like even that, I don't know. You know, in a deep fake world, I'm like, what would pin this guy to the, what would actually get him at this point, man?
Oh man, we live in the weirdest time because we also
So
live in an era where I do feel primed to start believing conspiracy theories. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Which is
I mean,
dangerous.
the Epstein,
My buddy Sam and I were just talking about how like both of our like we know like family members who have spent too much time online and they're like getting a little bit older, and then so now they do go down rabbit holes in
oh
a way
yeah,
that they can't bring themselves back out of, and it
oh,
becomes like, oh shit, we got to get psychologists involved level. You know what I mean? So I also don't want to do that, which makes me just kind of like, that thought makes me just like want to get offline for a minute. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, okay. If you had to put money on this, if you were gonna like bet $100 or whatever, like staged or not staged.
staged. I'd put the full, yeah.
So you think
Yeah.
Donald Trump and his team let a firefighter be shot dead and risked other people in the crowd behind him being shot dead for a fucking photo op? That's what they would say. That would be the argument against, right? Sandor says, break free from your normie shackles. I think that we need to like pin that to the wall just behind us. Like I'm normie pilled, man. I need to break free from my normie shackles. I need to get a shirt that says that. Thank you, Sandor. It's like
Yeah, no, I think so, man. I think crazier shit has happened. I wonder all the time, the Epstein things included, how hard it must be to hide anything anymore. And then again, I think a lot of inky stuff goes on in the shadows, kind of right next door all the time. Maybe it's not that hard to hide a chain of things. Because you were thinking like, well, you would have had to tell the flag guy and the photographers. It's like, no, not really. You wouldn't even have had to tell the person that was telling them what to do. You might have just,
here's part of that thing is that like we've made movies together.
yeah,
A director who's even a halfway decent one can orchestrate hella shit, hundreds of people with like
yeah,
minimal direction, just
yep,
because you have like shit in place, right? Like you've just got the stage is set and then you have the people there. Minimal direction will get people moving in the right place. So you really could, with one or two masterminds, like masters of puppets, you could
yeah.
orchestrate hella shit for sure, right?
I think so. I mean, even as much as the kid, he's 21. He's scouting a kid that's really politically,
But
scouting.
he could have almost shot Donald Trump, right? That kid. No, I guess the conspiracy theory would be that like Trump was hiding behind something, the plate of glass or whatever was hiding him so that he couldn't have actually gotten shot, and then he just like did this to his ear or something like that, right? That would be how it would have been orchestrated. There's no way his life was actually threatened.
Man, I don't know, dude. We're in such an idiocracy timeline. I just have it's so hard to figure out what, and this is the deeper that we're going to keep getting deeper and deeper into this.
Oh, it's
Probably.
gonna get weirder, man. Like life is gonna get so much weirder. Like it's
I
not
wonder
getting
if it
normal
gets
again.
I wonder if it gets weirder and then it makes a little bit more sense for a while when we've got all of our little GPT assistants that are helping us have better mental and physical health and optimize our daily routine. I've had 3 people this week close to me call me about GPT and AI to ask me questions about it, like just people personal to my life that are want to know, want a different perspective on it or something. I mean, I think we're in a very weird time, but you think like we're in they say we're in like a post-truth era. I think computers are going to be pretty fucking good at figuring out what the truth is when they're smart enough. We might be right back into a truth era again before we know it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because computers will have to, all of the various agents will at some level have to be able to talk to each other and communicate with each other, because like they're going to have to be able to talk to the real world offline,
Yeah,
which means connecting to cameras and audio shit
yeah,
and like CCTV shit. You know what I mean? Like they're and police body cams. Like there's so many things that they're gonna have to talk to, or else they're just gonna be, because they're only so good as the information that they're able to tap into. And if
right,
they have walls around them, they're not gonna be that good, which is the interesting thing. Like
right.
the power of the AI agents is going to depend on how many walls we are going to be able to knock down for them. And
Yeah,
there might be reasons or regulations why certain walls stay up. So maybe AI will never be able to talk to police body cams. You know what I mean? Or as one example, and then that will like shut them off from the whole realm of knowledge.
there's gonna have to mean publicly, but I swear to God, you look at these founder guys and the hubris that's kind of baked into the AI space right now, and there's there's definitely some guy in a basement that's feeding his little GPT all the fucking shit that you're not allowed to, trying to figure out how to get it smart enough to be a person. I just
Mhm.
think somebody's, somebody somewhere, or maybe thousands of people everywhere are racing towards trying to figure out how to get that done.
Oh yeah, I know. Shit's gonna get weird. Shit's gonna get very weird. On this note, I'm gonna have to bounce. But good talks, man. I fascinated by how all of these stories are gonna play out. I guess we'll see. We'll check back in on the old Epstein for sure.
Donald Trump, you dirty little dog. You come on, man. Can we get this guy Nixon? right? Can we just look at this guy as like a failed leader? I mean, I think my final note is this, man. There's always a cult of personality around these famous assholes. But you know what? A lot of the times they do go down. And I think some shoe needs to drop here this year where we just kind of pop this guy off, and then JD Vance can take his place and do probably unimaginable evil with his little charismatic personality.
I think I mean, I do think that the dying out, late stage boomer thing, when they do peace out finally from like American politics, I think it's going to be for the better. I really kind of do. I feel like the boomers aren't meant to govern the world as it currently exists. That's one of my hot takes here. And I think that like whoever takes over next, as long as it's someone who's like under 60, let's just say that's still old as fuck. But like if it's somebody under 60, they will, I think, interface with reality at like a level that makes, I don't know. Maybe this is just like overly optimistic for me too. But I think that the older boomers, they're not connected to the world at some fundamental level anymore. Seems like.
I'm 100% with you, Pete. Well, great squawking with you, brother. And till next time.
All right, man. Till next time.